And now, an Angel Writer editorial. I was originally going to post up a rant related to the Seceders issue, but after watching great videos about this topic from TheTruePooka and oldfartrants, links will be below by the way, I decided to think the better of it and not sound like one of those racists who are just so butthurt right now. Or losers, I dare say. Now, I am of the opinion that both sides of the succession issue are, for lack of a better term, unpatriotic in their ways. For those people on the succeeding side not wanting to be a part of the United States, let me ask you something. Have you ever thought about what you're going to do when you face natural disasters, going deeper into debt than your state already is, or even worse? Considering that all this came about because a few people from the state of Louisiana who can't fathom the concept of losing and are ironically uncomfortable with a president that doesn't look like them, while ironically their own governor also happens to be non-white but Indian American, I would say that support is garnered, but the concept just boggles my mind. Especially with petitions being signed and directed to the White House too. Then, you got those on the other side saying, go ahead, get out of here, we don't need you, revoke their citizenship. Some of these people, not all mind you, are no better than the first group because they're trying to quell the freedom of speech and disagreement. These are also some of the same people who believe that everyone should be heard, but there are just a few we can do without because their opinions, while it might be radical, really have no meaning, so why should we listen to them? Now, while I can understand that frustration and pain, you must understand that these butthurt losers that I referenced to before have a right to express themselves, and instead of feeding into it and also sending signatures to the White House, you also have a right to tune them out. I mean, I wonder, does anyone realize, and especially if you've been paying attention to the news as of late, that President Obama and his staff have a lot on their plate right now, especially with the FBI investigation, the fiscal cliff, and other issues that people want to have discussed? This succession issue, quite frankly, is just worthless change to them. And while it's happened a lot, I doubt if anything's really going to come of it. Now, if you really want to think about the ridiculousness of it all in the simplest, most understandable terms possible, ask yourself this. If your NFL, NBA, MLB, or any other major sports franchise team lost, even if they tried to cheat, would you want to ban the franchise and never watch your sport again, even if you followed them like a Timothy Leary cult? Or better yet, they were like the best team out there? Would you ask the franchise to succeed, or at least your sports team to succeed, so they could be more successful and ban all advertising and endorsements of companies or anything related to the organization that they succeeded from? Now, let's face it, and let's look at the reality check here. Dare I say, mind you. There are some racist people out there who are just sore losers or just don't know what the concept of losing is. You know, sort of like the Vancouver hockey fans who rioted the streets after their team lost a few years ago. And while I thought these people could take the hint from Mitt Romney when he gave his little speech, he's recently been reported to being a sore loser himself. I mean, talk about a bad case of the blind leading the blind here. It seems like those on the losing end have morphed into this I'm 12 and what is this 4chan type of troll. It's as if some people just don't understand what it means to lose, and yet there are movies and stories and songs with lessons about winning and losing all the time that we teach our kids. Or that lesson, it's not how you play the game, not how you win, you lose, but how you play the game. So I'm wondering, by having a toddler-like temper tantrum with this election specifically, what are some of us even teaching our own children? That anytime you lose, you should put the blame on someone else and not find out what went wrong so that you can do better next time? Al Sharpton said it best on his show when he said that a true patriot never leaves or gives up on his country when his side loses. And you know what? I actually agree with that. A true patriot is there thick and thin when you win and when you lose. And when you lose, you just hang in there. You deal with it. You find ways to adapt. Especially in the midst of any economic crisis or geological crisis or, natural disaster crisis. I mean, look at Chris Christie and what he's doing out in the state of New Jersey, which is being very underreported right now. He's leading his state after the worst storm possible and trying to do all he can to help. He gives press conferences almost every day updating his state on the latest, and he's actually doing his job. He doesn't care about the elections, which he has stated. He doesn't care about the wins or the losses. He cares about doing the job and helping those people who did and did not elect him. In other words, he's doing what you should be doing when you are in office. To me, that's at least one form of patriotism, if I ever saw one, and that I can at least think of. So, if you want to be a true patriot, here's my advice to you. Stand up, help out, be there for each other, and most importantly, put on your big boy pants, grow up, move on, and adapt. Anyway, if you enjoy this and you'd like to see some of my other videos, make sure to check out my links below. Check out the links to Old Fart Rants and TheTruePooka, who did some excellent videos on this topic. And feel the love and rock on, pass it on.